What's happening, guys? Gemma and Jess here, and back again for another episode of Two Girls, One
Gaming Topic.
Yay! And for those of you that are new to the channel, this is kind of minimal editing really. We just kind of chat and share memories and get comments and feedback from you guys. And Jess came up with something because it's kind of more in line with her passion than I guess my passion, so I think she's going to completely lead this. I'm kind of looking to her for a bit of advice, really, a bit of guidance in this episode. Now, the new Atari console was announced in June this year.
E3.
Or was not necessarily announced, but kind of teased more than anything.
Yes, it was mentioned.
Yes. And it was actually you that came to me and brought it to light because it was something that I'd kind of failed to pick up on throughout E3 this year. And it was something that you'd mentioned, and then a flurry of people started to kind of tag me and things and speak to me on YouTube about it. And I just wasn't interested. I wasn't interested. You know?
What do you mean you're not interested?
I was like, oh yeah, cool, okay, where's the PS5? Where, you know, I guess I'm a little bit naive, and this is where you're gonna kind of dominate here. I know, because my kind of growing up was built around the ZX Spectrum and then kind of straight to the NES with a tiny bit of the 2600 in between, and that was at a cousin's house on Kung Fu. And that is literally
the Atari 2600.
Yeah, that is literally it. That is the extent of my Atari. Whereas you, do you want to, I mean, what is, let's talk about some memories and then we'll talk about how this fits into this Atari box. So, what is it about, you know, the Atari that's so special for you, Jess?
It was really the first gaming console I ever played
Okay,
that I actually had any interest in.
Okay, so this is before NES?
Yeah, it was before the NES. I mean, my dad had one, my stepfather had one, so my stepmother had one.
Yeah, you were so bad, dude.
Yeah. So, and then it's one of those it was easy to pick up because it was a joystick and one button. I mean, it was super uncomplicated. Yeah, for a little kid, because I was really young, like, you know, when I was playing it. And then when the NES came out, that was super popular. My mom couldn't afford it right away, so we were still playing on my stepfather's Atari.
Yeah.
And then when we did get the NES in the house, I ended up reverting back to the Atari because we could put it in the basement. We didn't have a finished basement; it was just storage, you know. But it was down there with a little TV. And I would just play that by myself instead of all three of us kids arguing over who's going next on the NES and stuff like that. So I could be in my my own element with the older console because nobody cared about that one.
Okay,
but I did.
Come on then. We got a visitor. We got Husky.
And for the record, we had the Darth Vader edition, so the all black Atari 2600,
which is really the kind of console, the Atari console that, you know, I hear a lot of people talk about and they kind of aim for. Like, I think I remember Gemma Boness from Level Up Games mentioning something about that. I think one had come into the shop.
Yes, because they had one.
And she got super excited over it, as would you if you played one. But yeah, so you had, so your stepdad had the Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Your dad had the
one with the wood paneling, which is like what the new X, you know, what do they call? I went to say Xbox because it's called the Atari Box for now. I mean, God knows what it's gonna be called when it comes out. But yeah, I mean, that has, you know, a bit of like that wood paneling look on it, and it just has that feel of the 2600 just a little bit. I mean, they didn't really show much of it. But just just enough to say, oh, it looks modern, but still with a touch of the old.
It's just enough for people like us to get on YouTube and rehash some memories, albeit mine very minimal, but yours a little bit more kind of, you know,
a lot more.
And it has done exactly that. I think for now, you know, it's back on people's radar. We don't know anything about the console, what it looks like, you know, any specs, any games. And I think for me that's for you know, the more hardcore Atari fans out there, I think it's fantastic, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it brings. I'm certainly I'm looking forward to it, you know, because I was thinking, well, is it going to be
you just said at the beginning of the video, you weren't interested.
I'm not, but I'm looking forward to seeing what it brings. I'm going to take a back seat on it. It's not something I'm going to buy, but I'm looking forward to seeing the hype. I'm looking forward to the previews because I think you can still look at it objectively.
Oh, I'm buying it.
You can buy it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it brings, but it's not something at this time I think I'm going to be buying or invested in whatsoever.
Tragic.
I know.
Tragic. What if they came out with like another Commodore?
Commodore 64?
Yeah. You know, one that was kind of like...
they are, aren't they? I think I would prefer, I think at the minute...
I'm not talking about plug and plays or any of those. I'm talking about an actual console. I mean, this new Atari thing, it's not like the Atari Flashback. It's not a plug and play.
It's not a plug and play.
It's not something that's running on, as far as we know, any ROMs or anything. So it's supposed to be a console in the likes of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One S and all that kind of, you know, it's
the current generation of gaming is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
yeah. What can it bring? What could, you know, I mean, it interests me from like the kind of psychology behind it, but as a gamer and a collector, it doesn't interest me as much. That's okay because everybody's different. And Jess obviously said, you know, before we start this video, it'll be interesting, really interesting to see some of the predictions in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see what you guys think.
Yes.
You know, you guys and gals think is going to happen with this, you know. Is it going to be something that is actually comparable to a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One? Will it? I mean, we have no idea. Right now it's all like fantasy at the moment.
Right, and like it is what it is. It's a teaser, we don't know. And the thing is, we don't know when the next, well, as of today, we don't know when the next bout of information is going to be. Because usually, like, if Sony or Microsoft tease something, they'll say, worldwide reveal on this date. So you can kind of count down to it.
There is an option on the website that you can get a notification when there's more info.
Okay.
And if you're from the media or somebody, maybe even somebody like you that's a blogger, you can actually write an email saying you want some more information.
Yeah. I will link the website. It'll be the first link in the description. If you guys want to check that out, if you've not seen it. There's a 22-second teaser clip as well on YouTube in case you haven't seen it, so you can check that out below. But it'll be interesting to see, you know, what kind of comes from this. Now, if my brother was here, I think he'd probably say the same. You know, the Atari, I don't know why it is, I don't know, like, kind of, it was ZX Spectrum, and then all of a sudden my brother got an NES for Christmas, and there's this gap in between where, like I said, we would go around to cousins' houses and there'd be the odd two-player on some Atari game, and it was a ton of fun. But I don't connect with it as much as I do like the Super Nintendo or the PS1 because you have the nostalgia. You can name the people that own them and what types of Ataris they had, and you kind of buzz off it.
I actually still have that that one, that Darth Vader one. It's just back in the US. So.
Yeah. They're worth a fair few bits. Well.
Yeah. I was talking about this with Andy from League Games, like what, probably 5 years ago.
Right.
About Atari not being as popular here.
Yeah.
He said that it was more, you know, from what he knows, and he knows his stuff.
Shut us.
You should go to his shop, Lee's Games in Morecambe. But anyway, he said it's more, the Atari products were more popular in the US than they were the UK.
Yeah, agreed.
Whereas the ZX Spectrum was not really that popular in the US.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, did you guys even get a run of ZX Spectrums?
Yes.
You did, yes. And the same with the Master System as well. A lot of Americans comment if we do like a Master System game, like on pickups, oh, I wish I could have a Master System, I wish I could find them, but they weren't as big in the US, and they're quite a fair few quid to import, whereas here you can buy them from every gaming market you go to. So just have to get rid of Husky there. He's molting like crazy. I'm like just covered in hair. But yeah, back to it. It's like, I think it's interesting sometimes how some consoles do really well in one region but not as well in another, and I like that you brought that actually on, that Atari was definitely a bit bigger over there.
I mean, do you think it could be the marketing? I mean, the Spectrum came out here, right? It was built here.
British made, yes.
Right, so obviously the first place they're going to market it to is the UK.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
You know?
And Atari based in the US?
I honestly don't know.
I'm pretty sure they were based in the US because I watched something about the video game crash in the 80s, Husky Get Down, and I'm sure it was actually in California somewhere. I could be wrong. My memory's very vague on this.
They were in California. I just don't know if they were born in California.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I can't remember right now.
Yeah, it's all very foggy. It's very foggy. It's been a long day. But yeah, it's interesting. And out of interest, you know, if there's anybody out there that doesn't like the Atari, let us know. If this is a product you're not going to be buying, then let us know. But there generally seemed to be quite a lot of hype over it. A lot of people were quite eager to tell me, and I think that's cool.
Why wouldn't you want to know about a new console?
Yeah. Even if you're not going to buy it, like at least know about it, and then you can make a bit more of an informed decision on it.
Yeah. Well, not everybody's going to own. I think there's quite a few people out there who are very happy to own one particular brand of consoles.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. Yeah.
Not everybody's like Gemma and wants to have every single console there is, but
absolutely, yeah, a few bits that I'm not interested in, but
yeah, exactly. Like this one, you don't seem that bothered. Whereas I look at Atari, instantly I see their logo, and it just gives me that really good feeling. Kind of like probably the SNES does for you.
Yeah.
You know, I see Atari stuff and I'm like, oh, gotta have it.
Yeah. I see those PAL colours on the Super Nintendo, like the, you know, a controller. Husky, really?
Good God.
You need to like get some, I need to brush this cat. It's
like, I actually really wanted the Atari Flashback, even though it's a plug and play. I actually really wanted it, but I think the price is just more than I'm personally willing to pay, and you think it's stupid. But, I mean, it's got some great games, at least games for me that I think are great.
Yeah, I think it's something we could definitely look at getting. I mean, a lot of plug and plays I've had in the past haven't really gone down overly well for me. Like, it's been one of those, you see one on a car boot, £2, you buy it, and it's something I just never play. I don't know. I mean, I know I'm getting the SNES Mini, but that's the majority of that decision is around Star Fox 2 coming out. And just the kind of cross-region games I think is really nice to have, like, you know, what was it? I've got Super Mario RPG, but what I don't have is,
how should I know?
Oh, I was talking to you about Earthbound, yes. That's kind of my reasoning behind the Super Nintendo Mini.
But we're not talking about that.
No, I'm digressing slightly. Video in the cards, by the way, if you want to watch my thoughts on that yesterday.
I mean, when it comes to Atari, right, what's your favorite game? You know, and what system? Because there's more. There's the Atari Jaguar. I don't really care about that one. That I never played it. I'm not bothered. Right. Honestly.
I don't even own one, so I can. Yeah.
So, I mean, we did come across an Atari. Was it 800?
It had a tape deck.
It had a tape deck, and it was like, it was white in color, and it was basically just like a keyboard, like you would plug into a monitor. We did see one in what?
A really old charity shop. It's no longer there. It's out in Hina somewhere. It's like, it was in the back, in the box that was like piled on top of other boxes. This guy literally took about 10 minutes to root this thing out for us. And we were like, you know, we'll take a look at this thing, because it's not a name that was familiar to us.
No, I had no experience
with it in my head, so we were like, okay, let's have a look at this thing. Turns out it's quite rare. We didn't buy it, unfortunately, because I think at the time we were just passing through. I think we were on our way somewhere, but Andy was talking to you about it, wasn't he? Yeah. And it was interesting that we found one a couple of weeks after you and him were talking about it, and here we go, was one in the wild, and you know, those moments are pretty cool. And I think for me, I guess that's a nice Atari memory for me, as much as I don't have the nostalgia of it growing up. That was pretty cool.
Of being like, whoa, wait a second, I don't know much about this one, and you get that curiosity going.
Yeah, and that's what it is to me. The Atari box, I'm curious about it, you know, but as of the very little information we've got at the minute, I can't say yes, I'm going to buy one, because I don't know what it is. You know, until I know a little bit more, then I'm going to just hold it off a little bit. But like Jess said, let us know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts, what are your Atari memories? Definitely slap them below. And based on the very limited teaser, are you going to be buying one when it comes out? Happy to wrap up?
Sure.
So there we go, guys. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Two Girls, One Gaming Topic. All other playlists are in the description, and there's a plethora of videos in the cards just up there. And just thank you so much for the support. It's been really nice to have you guys, whether you support this type of content or streams. I can't thank you enough. So thank you. My name's Gemma. Make sure you guys hit subscribe. Would you like to say anything, Jess, to the viewers?
No, I'm all set.
Thank you very much, guys. See you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.